Hey guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you want to be a successful business owner, if you want to be a content creator and heavy on the word successful, it's going to require you to get freaking delusional about your goals and your dreams. How do I know? Because I've been a full-time content creator for the past 5 years and I have made a lot of money on these apps, but I had to get delusional with my goals. You guys, most people are not business owners. Most people are not content creators, all right? They say it or they might have an idea, right? I think we've all met somebody who's had a business idea and it might have been an even really good one, but they never follow through, right? People always get in their own way. They say they can't do it. They start to doubt themselves. They never actually execute. They don't do any of the things that it requires in order to run a successful business, in order to be a content creator. They're just kind of dreaming, right? Well, if you want to step outside of that dreaming category and actually into the execution category, actually into the I'm really doing this category, it's going to require you to get delusional as fuck. And the very first reason is because you're not going to have support. No support. And again, you guys, everything that I say is my own projection. This is how I've experienced my life. But you guys, when it comes to support, whether it's from your friends, family, you're not really going to have much. Not because they don't necessarily think that you can do it, but they don't really understand you, okay? You're trying to accomplish something that a lot of people try to do, but never actually get done, okay? So you might have these goals of having millions of subscribers, making millions of dollars. A lot of people can't even imagine, they can't even wrap their head around something so grand, okay? So they're not gonna even know how to support you in the first place. And of course it's gonna suck because you're like, man, I'm trying to do this and no one's cheering for me, or they're acting like they don't see my content, they're not telling me good job. Well, they don't really understand it. They gave up on themselves. One of the biggest lessons I had to learn, you guys, a lot of times we are asking people to do something for us that they don't even do for themselves, okay? They gave up supporting themselves a long time ago. I told you most people had a business idea, but they didn't do it. Most people want to be content creators, right? But they don't do it. So they don't even support themselves. And you are looking for somebody to support you, but they don't support themselves. So therefore, it's impossible. How can someone support you when they don't even support themselves? So you have to get delusional. You have to understand, look, I'm going to do this regardless of what people say. I'm going to do this regardless of who's supporting me, who's talking about me. I'm going to do this. You have to get delusional. When you tell somebody your goal and you don't get a gasp, like, oh, that means you didn't dream high enough. That means your dreams are too small scale. You need to think higher. You need to go past Pluto, okay? Your dreams need to be so crazy that when you tell somebody, they're looking at you like you are insane. That's how you know you're dreaming big, okay? If they don't look at you like you're insane, your dreams aren't big enough. You need to shoot higher, okay? So understand you're not going to get much support. Number two, you guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it requires consistency. AF. It requires consistency as fuck. I don't even think that's grammatically correct, but that's okay. You guys, are you consistent? Do you even really know what the word consistent means? I think a lot of times we can be delusional about what consistency even means. Sometimes people think, listen, I used to be guilty of this too. I was nowhere near as consistent 5 years ago when I first started to today. But a lot of times people think consistency means, well, as long as I do something every Wednesday, then I'm consistent. Yeah, but you're not being delusional enough. So doing something once a week, sure, that's consistency, but I also we gotta be delusional. You are not being delusional enough. So consistency in a delusional mindset is we're gonna do this every single day, all day long. We're going to do this every single day, all day long. You should be posting every single day. And if you're not, what are you doing? That's not delusional enough. You should be posting all day. Now some of you are going to say, well, I'm at work. Okay, well, what about your break? What about when you get off work? What about before work? What about your lunch break? You can cue stuff. If you didn't know, yes, you can cue your YouTube posts. You can cue your Instagram posts. You can cue your Facebook posts. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Make it make sense. There's no reason why you cannot be posting all day. At least every day. At least every day. Are you creating content every day? Are you practicing your sales every day? When you're at work, are you reciting your sales scripts? What are you doing? What are we doing? Like, make it make sense. You're not consistent. You are not consistent, and that's got to change. I need you to be delusional as fuck. That's the only way it's going to get done. So we got to be consistent. We have to be consistent. We got to be. Number 3, faith. Okay? You got to be delusionally faithful because you can't even see the outcome in front of you. You have no idea. Honestly, the odds are against you. The odds are against you. Most people fail. But it's not because it's too hard. They fail because they quit. I tell y'all all the time, failure only exists when you quit. As long as you don't quit, you're not going to give up or you're not going to fail. Most people quit. So that's why they fail. That's why the odds are against you. Most people can't even begin to imagine a life where their business pays their bills. Like a lot of people can't even wrap their head around that because most people work jobs. And there's nothing wrong with working a job. I'm just telling you that's what most people do. So here you are trying to start a business and the business makes enough to where your bills are paid. The odds are against you. Because most people cannot. They can't even begin to imagine keeping going with something that they cannot see when they're still not getting results. People can't do that. It just blows their mind. Their head is spinning. So you have to be faithfully delusional to begin to even think that even though the odds are against you, you're still going to make it work. Even when the algorithm isn't algorithming the way you want it to, it's still going to work. Even when you go 30 days and people aren't buying your product, it's still going to work. Even when everyone is telling you that you're stupid for quitting your job, it's still going to work. You have to have that level of delusional faith that most people don't have. They say they walk by water. They don't really walk on no damn water. They don't. It just sounds cool. It sounds faithful, but they don't really believe that. Because if they did, they would be faithfully delusional too, but they're not. They're not. Next is quit. Most people quit. You cannot quit. You cannot quit. You guys, you will be your own worst enemy if you allow yourself to be. You will be. It'll be you. It's not your fake friends. It's not your unsupportive family. It's not your toxic ass job. It's you. You will be your worst enemy. Because a lot of times people get to a point where they've given it their all for like 30 days, 60 days, hell, maybe even 6 months. Maybe even 6 months. But right before their breakthrough, they quit. They quit. They're done. You can't quit. You cannot quit. And when you quit, that's when you failed. When you quit, that's when you failed. Right here, when you quit. All that time and energy and effort that you put in, and then you quit. You got in your own way. You got in your own way. You quit. So it's over. It's done. All that time that you put in was literally for nothing. You got to be delusional about the outcome. You can't quit. And people are going to be looking at you like, I think you need to go back to work. I think you need to let this go. I think this dream of yours has gotten out of hand. And you let them convince you of that, and then you quit. And it was all for nothing. It was all for nothing. Listen, you are going to have to be delusional as hell. If you really want this, and you can have it. Listen, there is nothing that any entrepreneur is doing that you can't do. And when you truly believe that, then you will achieve it. I know it sounds cliche. I know you might be thinking like, girl, that sounds cliche as hell, but it's true. It really is true. The problem is people can't push on where they don't get support. People don't know how to be consistent. People don't know how to walk on water. People don't know how to not quit. They don't know how to do these things. They get in their own way. They literally get in their own way. And you know what? I'm going to add a fifth one. You gotta remove the ego, y'all. Ego and pride. Pride comes before the fall. Listen, there is no room for ego in business. Listen, I am a student every day, all day long. And it's not even just business. If you didn't know, I lost over 100 pounds. I'm always a student. I'm always willing to learn. I go in the gym. If I see somebody who's cut up, I'll ask them, hey, do you have any advice for me? How can I get strong like you? How can I do what you do? What is your meals looking like? Like, let me know. People have such ego. They don't want to admit that they don't know everything. They don't want to be teachable. You think because you were able to get consistent views on reels that there's nothing anyone else can teach you to make you even better. Like, people really think that. People really think that. And you're gonna go as far as that ego. Listen, there's nothing wrong with having confidence. You need to have some confidence, but you also need to know how to put that to the side. Yes, you need to be confident as hell. There's nothing that you don't think you can't do. But you also need to be teachable. I'm not going to say humble. I don't believe in the word humble, but you do need to be teachable. You need to be able to say, hey, I don't know everything. And if there's somebody who knows more than me, I'm going to allow them to teach me. I'm going to remove the ego and pride, and I'm going to listen and execute. And people, men and women, struggle horribly when it comes to that ego and pride. I said what I said. So leave a comment down below. Let me know which one of these do you struggle with the most. I would love to hear what you have to say. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you have not joined Glow Up Academy, what are you waiting for? This is the space where we transform. I teach you how to shift your mindset so you can actually get it done. Teach you how to build that business. Let's go. The link is down below in my description, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.